Hey, Dale here, the anti-guru, and today I'm going to continue a training on Bing ads, and I'm going to go into a little deeper detail on some strategies and some things that I've been using to fine-tune the ads that I do on Bing. So the first thing I want to direct your attention to is we're in my ad account, and this is the overview of the changes and the tweaks that I made to my campaign in the last 5 days. So what you're looking at here is, of course, the clicks, how much I spent, but what I really want to direct your attention to is the click-through rate. Now, what I'm going to explain to you, and you might want to get your pen and pad out to write some of these down, to take some notes. Um, Initially when I was running this campaign, I had 2 ad groups, and I was running traffic to those 2 ad groups, and I noticed that one ad group was performing a little bit better than the other. So I looked in a little bit deeper and looked into the keywords that were actually performing. And we're going to go into some keyword research, so to speak. I'm going to show you a little trick or a little tip that I've used to improve my click-through rate. So, but let me go on to this overview, because I want to kind of break this down so that when you start running your ads, you'll have a better understanding of this information so you can make some informed decisions. Now, here are the 2 ad groups that I had. Now, I paused the one ad group because what I decided is I looked at the keywords that were performing in the other ad group, and what I did was I took those keywords and added them to the first ad group, and I improved my click-through rate. And I'm going to show you that information because I'm going to show you last month's versus this month's. But let's go through this just a little further. What you're seeing down here are the devices, and it's showing you the clicks, the impressions, the click-through rate on each different device. And as usual, I got the most clicks on smartphones. I got the most impressions on smartphones. And it looks like my click-through rate, though, was a little bit better on tablet, but still that's a mobile device. That's understandable. So the tip or the information that I want to impress upon you with this is that when you're creating your ads, or not so much your ads, but say you're sending your traffic to a landing page, you want to make sure that your landing pages are mobile optimized. And that's a whole nother training, but some of you may know about that, some of you may not. And if you like that kind of training, I'll probably get into that a little bit later. But the thing that I want to impress upon you is that the majority of people are going to be watching or looking at your ads or your landing pages or your websites on mobile devices, whether it's a smartphone or a tablet. And if they're not optimized for mobile devices, then they're not going to look right. They're going to be a little funky, you know. So that's tip number 1. So let's go deeper into this training and let's keep moving forward. Now, what you're seeing here is last month's traffic and clicks that I got from this particular campaign. And like I said before, I had 2 ad groups, you can see over here. And I was doing pretty good, getting anywhere from 25 to 30 clicks a day during that whole month. But I want to direct you to the impressions and the click-through rate. Now, as you can see, the first ad group, I was getting a lot of impressions, but my click-through rate wasn't even 1%. It was 0.9%, and that's not good. Even though I was getting a lot of impressions, I wasn't getting a lot of click-through. So the click-through rate was 0.91, and I wasn't really happy with that. But the other ad group, got significantly less impressions, but I got a higher percentage on that click-through rate because, as you can see, the click-through rate was 3.47. So that got me to thinking. I said, okay, obviously this ad group is working better. So the first thing I did was I just paused uh, the other ad group. But then I got to thinking, I said, there were keywords that were performing in that ad group. So what I did, I went and looked into those keywords in that ad group and looked at the keywords that were performing, and then I simply copied them into the other ad group. But let me show you that. Let me keep going, and I hope you're taking notes. Looking at here, it again is the data from last month. I got a bug flying around here. These are the keywords that were inside both of those ad groups because I was running this truck. This is the data from last month. And like you can see, let's see. So I got a total of 366, excuse me, 355 clicks, 25,000 impressions, but my click-through rate was 1.39. I wasn't happy with that. So, like I said before, what I decided to do, I paused the one ad group that had the 0.91 click-through rate, and then I went inside that ad group and looked at all the keywords that were performing, that were giving me clicks. I copied those and added them to the other ad group that I still had running. Let me show you the final data on that. So as you can see now, I've only got 37 keywords. And that's another point I want to bring up, guys. If you're doing keyword research, I know a lot of people think if I stuff a lot of keywords, I've seen people, and I've done it myself, uh, put 200 or 300 keywords in an ad group and turn the ad on thinking, okay, I got all these different keywords. I'm surely going to get a lot of clicks because I've spread myself out wide. But the problem with that is that, you know, you're just like with your targeting. If you go too broad, where you're trying to serve everyone, you usually end up serving no one. So that's where that keyword research comes in, and you have to run these campaigns a little bit to see which keywords are actually performing, which brings me to my next point. So when you start looking at these different keywords, and let's just look at what I've got right here. So I've got some keywords that are getting me clicks and some that are not producing at all, like this one right here. And but the reason that's not performing now in this particular data is because I turned it off. But that make online money home keyword phrase, it was performing. So I took it and copied it into the other ad group. And as you can see right there at the top, there was 118 impressions. I got 4 clicks, which was a 3.39 click-through rate, a big improvement from 0.91. If you look down a little further, work online home, again, 2.29 click-through rate. We go down to work home opportunities. You can see a little bit more impressions on that because it's a more popular keyword, but still got a better click-through rate than I did previously from the previous month. Now let me go over one other thing that I want you to be aware of is when you're bidding on these keywords, because Bing and Google, they use a bidding platform, and you're actually bidding against other uh, advertisers trying to get your ad and your stuff on the first page or in a better position, because the positioning on the first page is just as important as getting on the first page. Because if you, in my opinion, if you get from 1 through 5, you got a better chance of somebody clicking on your ad. But even if you're down 7, 8, yeah, if you're on the first page, you're doing pretty good, and that's what we all want. Because unless you're my sister who goes 5 pages deep, your ad's not going to be seen. But look over here. Those are all the bids that I have on those particular keywords. Now here's the thing to write down, and here's the thing to take note of. When you start looking at these keywords, you're going to have some that are going to perform and some that aren't. And sometimes because the bids change daily, Bing or Google may say your bid is too low to be on the first page, and they're going to suggest a higher bid. But if you look at your data and you got a keyword that's giving you 0 clicks, 0 impressions, and it's not on the first page, and they want you to pay more money for something that's not performing, that doesn't make sense. So the other tip that I want to share with you is that you want to look at your keywords, look at the ones that are getting the clicks, look at the ones that are getting the impressions, and also look at the positioning. Because let's stop right there. Let me scroll down a little bit more. You can see my average position is 591, which is pretty good. But some of them are a little bit lower, like this one here, 675. Um, that one there, 7.23. And you can see I only got 1 click, impressions are low, and that one's actually not performing as well as I would hope. But again, it's on a bid, and sometimes they do better on some days than others. It can go up and down. Like I said, you can see here, this one, you got work from home opportunities, uh, got 11 clicks, only 467 impressions. Click through rate is 2.36. The average position is 4.87. So that's a very good keyword for me, and it's performing very well for me. So those are the things that I want you to get out of this training. Is that one, you want to run these ads, at least I would say minimum 5 days. I would recommend you try to go 30 days on them if you can afford that. But 5 to 14 days, and look at your data. And the things you want to look at is you want to look at the ad group, you want to look at your click-through rate, you want to look at your impressions, and remember that you're bidding on these keywords, so the bids will go up and down sometimes. So you can start looking at the keywords that are performing. Now, when I first started this campaign, I had like about 75, 80 keywords. And in the beginning, what I was doing was looking at the keywords that were performing and some that weren't giving me any clicks, no impressions. So I started deleting those because because what it does, it actually saps traffic away from you, especially if you're getting, like I had one in here, like let me show you right here where it says, ways to earn extra money. Okay, I got 10 impressions. It's actually in the 5th position, but I got 0 clicks. So most likely, I probably will be deleting that keyword as well because it is not giving me the performance that I'm hoping for or expecting. So that's the kind of things that you want to be mindful of, and when you're looking at this research and looking at the data, as to so that you don't spend money on keywords that are not performing. Because I had another colleague, he was running Bing ads, and I remember he was talking with my mentor, and he told him that he spent something like 400 bucks, and he didn't get hardly any clicks, and he got hardly no traffic to his landing page. And in his mind, he said, "Well, I'll just keep spending more money, more money. Eventually, it's gonna fall. It's gonna fall through." And that is not the way to go. That is an amateur way of thinking. The pros, we look at our data, we look at what's performing, we spend our money where the performance is high. You know, so again, when you're creating these campaigns, I recommend you got to have at least one ad group, but I recommend you do 2 or 3, and then watch that traffic as it's coming in. Look at those ad groups, see which ad group is performing. Then open up your keywords and look at each keyword or keyword phrase that you're using, and then see where your clicks are coming from, where your impressions are coming from. And you can start deleting those keywords that are not performing. You definitely want to increase the bid on the keywords that are giving you clicks. You don't want to go with just impressions, because impressions, all that is somebody looked at it. You want to spend your money where you're getting click-throughs, where they're actually landing on your landing page, or if you're running traffic to a website of some type, like a blog, or you have some type of e-commerce site, whatever you're running this traffic to, you only want to spend the money where you're actually getting clicks. Yeah. So that's pretty much all that I have for you on this training today. I pray that this information has been helpful. And if you like what you're seeing here, you know, please like it. If you want to share it, whether you're seeing this on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're seeing this, if you're on my blog, you know, please share this information so that you can help others. And remember my motto: the shortest distance between your dreams and reality is called action. So take action on this training, guys. You know, it doesn't do you any good, because one of my other mentors, he's got some great training programs and great teachings. And I remember in one of the trainings, he said, you know, guys, I give you this information, but it's absolutely worthless if you don't take any action on it. So if you want to realize your dreams, if you want to live that good life, take this training, take everything, implement it. Don't just digest it and look at it and say, okay, I got through that, let me move on to the next thing. That's the reason why a lot of people fail at this work from home thing, or even if they have a business, you know, like a small business. They end up failing because they're not following up and following through with whatever they're learning. They're not taking that action, whether they're afraid or whatever it is that's holding them back. So again, this is JL, the Anti-Guru. I just wish you well, love, peace, and hair grease.